This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which airs live every Tuesday evening from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by Big Papa Smokers. Big Papa is the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue, featuring a comprehensive selection of all American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, and everything that you need to make a world-class pit out of a 55-gallon drum. Visit them at bigpapasmokers.com. And by the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control devices and pits as well. You can visit them at thebbqguru.com. And by Cook Shack, a leader in pellet and electric style cookers. Visit them for specials online at cookshack.com or call them at 800-423-0698. And by Sucklebusters. Sucklebusters products are preferred by competition barbecue cooks. Texas-based, 100% made in the USA. Introduced first products to Barbecue Central over 7 years ago. You can get in contact with them at sucklebusters.com. Like them on their Facebook fan page, Sucklebusters, or visit thetexasbbqforum.com. Check them out and see why Sucklebusters means bustin' with flavor. And by Stephen DeFranco Jeweler, the official jeweler of the Barbecue Central Show. Visit them at StephenDeFranco.com or call 440-943-2700. And by Butcher Barbecue, makers of injections, sauces, and rubs. Find them online at butcherbbq.com. And by Green Mountain Grills, a leader in the pellet grill market. You can find out more about their cookers by visiting greenmountaingrills.com. And by cookinpellets.com, a maker of high-quality pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. You can visit them at cookinpellets.com, or you can find them at amazon.com as well.
That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. Hey-o. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. Broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here during the show this evening. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, more than happy to have you. Two ways to do it. It's a it's a phone call. We won't call it toll-free anymore because we dumped that a while back. 216-220-0966. You can also email the show. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening on the show in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 13 minutes from now, the Sam's Club director coming back for 2015, Michael McDearman. Good friend of the show, somebody I have on quite often to talk about Sam's Club, about barbecue in general, and aside from getting into the Sam's Club stuff that kicked off this past weekend, maybe some speculatory thoughts on the upcoming 2015 Sam's Series. Michael getting into a couple more business-related aspects of the culinary world that we hopefully will touch on during our time. Then we will move on at 9:35. You saw him here last week because he won a Popka, Florida. You see him here this week because he turned around, changed up sanctioning bodies, summarily won Grand Championship at the inaugural first local qualifying event for the Sam's Club National Barbecue Series in Kissimmee, Florida. Matt Barber, hot Wachula. So, look for that. Looking very fun. And then we'll move to the second hour. we'll get out of talking through a tube. No. We'll address that here in a second, folks. Oh no. Can I change that? Audio. Stand by. Is this good? Does this microphone sound better? I might have been coming through the... Sounds good now. All right, there we go. I've lost exactly where I was. Oh, what an embarrassment. Oh, my God. In the second hour and 10:14. Here we go. Little thing called the Guinea Pig took place this past weekend. We will have the creator of the Guinea Pig competition. He is also the creator of the King of the Smoker, a sponsor of this show, 50% of the West Coast offense. The line is long and illustrious. Sterling Ball, Big Papa Smokers will be joining us. And to round out the show at 10:35, the winner of the Guinea Pig competition, Sterling Smith of Loot and Booty, will be recapping the big win. All right. So a couple things right off the bat, as you can see. I am having a magnanimously fierce time trying to get my camera to show up on the video side of things, which, I mean, you know me, right? Oh. All right. Well, a little behind the scenes right here, folks. I don't usually like to show this part of it. Kind of embarrassing. Get to see the whole green screen aspect. So we'll fix this here while we're talking. This is what it looks like behind the scenes, folks. You ever wonder what it looks like behind me really? I guess the whole wood thing is now completely blown. I'm so embarrassed. There we go. We just got to configure the input here. Boom. All right. And we'll pan the Oh, wrong way. There we go. Come on. Get up there, boy. Hey. All right. There he is. Hey-o. I wonder if that works for everything else. Oh, of course not. Oh, love a mic. Well, we'll fix that over the course. I was going to say, you notice that my thing, we were just going to go with the old banner and do old-timey radio. Hey, everybody, good morning, old-timey radio. However, I'm able to fix the camera, all that stuff, so good for me. So I guess I don't know secondarily what else was something that I may or may not have been talking about. That's right. Video setting, that's right. Okay. Well, we're more or less back online. If you want to jump into the show tonight, 216-220-0966. You can also email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Great lineup for tonight, as many have just mentioned. If you are watching the show right now, or you're listening to the show, and you would like to invite all of your friends and neighbors to join in, A, that would be great. B, here are some things that you want to shoot out to them link-wise. In order to make that happen, you can shoot them over to my website, thebbqcentralshow.com, and you can easily pick a player and listen to it audibly. You can get on iTunes and listen to it through iTunes Radio. You can get on Facebook and tell everybody to go watch the video side of things on OutdoorCookingChannel.com, longtime syndicate video syndication partner of this show. And if you have IP television, for instance, I have Roku in my house, you can go to the App Store and look for Outdoor Cooking Channel in the App Store, download it, and then you have the ability to not only watch the live stream, which is your very first option when you open that up, you can also see a bunch of archives of not only this show, but all of the other shows that Kevin has on his channel, the Outdoor Cooking Channel. And don't forget, you can subscribe to iTunes for audio replays of this show. That is widely the most popular way that people consume this show after the live airing every Tuesday between 9 and 11. Once again, I know I mention it every so often. This show airs live right now on Tuesdays between 9 and 11. This show is happening live. There are no edits. I don't piece together anything. I had a little pre-roll on the front side, but once the show starts, when you get this on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever you listen to it, this show actually happened live. It's not pre-recorded. It's not something I do over the course of the week and piece it together. 9 to 11 every Tuesday, we show up here. There's a magic chat room that people love to take part in and make their own show out of this show. It's fabulous. If you've never listened to the show live, make a note one time in your whole life to come and join the live show every Tuesday from 9 to 11, because you never know what's going to happen. It's an enigma each and every week. I mean, who knows what's going on? Jim Elser could drop by. Jeff Elser could solicit cocaine and marijuana right in the chat room. And you just never know what's going to happen. These guys are crazy. Of course, you have video replays on my website, Outdoor Cooking Channel, on YouTube, all of this good stuff. So there's never a reason that you should ever miss anything about this show, on this show, for this show, guests of this show, whatever. Never any reason. So there you have it. We will try and fix the video stuff while we are beating through the line of interviews here over the next couple weeks. Again, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, you want to jump in, 216-220-0966. That is your phone number. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. That is your email address. And, folks, we are off and running on a great Barbecue Central show. Let me talk to you quickly about Suckle Busters. Award-winning barbecue rub sauces, chili kits, and Texas gunpowder. That's right. Suckle Busters products are preferred by competition barbecue cooks. They're 100% Texas-based, made in the USA. Introduced first products to Barbecue Central over 7 years ago. They've won hundreds of industry awards, including 2 first places 2 years in a row at the American Royal Barbecue Sauce Contest. Used by backyarders like me, competition barbecue cooks like you across the country. Top-selling products? Happy to mention them. Original barbecue sauce, the original, literally hundreds of industry awards. Honey barbecue sauce, used as finishing sauce and glazed by competition cooks. Hog Waller rub, #1, perfect on competition pork and ribs. Competition barbecue rub, it's a traditional style, very mild and savory, excellent on beef. Then you have that new Clucker Duster barbecue rub, sweet heat, chipotle chicken rub. Got to try that on the chicken. New products for 2015. Happy to mention those as well. Wild Fang Wild Game Rub, black pepper-based rub, also awesome on ribs. SPG, the premium blend of salt, pepper, and garlic. Bam! Habanero barbecue rub, super hot, super sweet. Now, where can you get Suckle Busters? Glad you asked. Available at over 300 retailers nationwide. Check out your local barbecue shop. Retail locator on the Suckle Busters website. That's just been recently updated. Order online at sucklebusters.com. You can also find their products on the Amazon.com. You can call them at 972-393-9509. That's 972-393-9509. You can email them sales, plural, sales@sucklebusters.com. Get on their Facebook fan page, Sucklebusters. You can visit their own barbecue and grilling forum at thetexasbbqforum.com. Check them out and see why Sucklebusters means bussin' with flavor. Last but not least, if you visit my main website, there is a button logo right there on the front page as well. For Sucklebusters, you can get at them that way. Many different ways, many different flavors. Dan Arnold and the good folks over at Sucklebusters appreciate their support of the show. When we come back, we will have Michael McDearman to talk about the 2015 season that is now underway for Sam's Club Barbecue Series, and we'll talk some other things as well. You are listening and now watching the Barbecue Central show on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase. If you're a little leery about cookinpellets.com, visit amazon.com, available for purchase there as well. So if you want to use Amazon Prime for shipping or take advantage of something like that, you can do that as well. Chris Becker and the good folks over at cookinpellets.com. All right, joining me now is the director of events and competitions and so forth as it relates to the Sam's Club Barbecue Series, back at it for 2015. A guy that I like to talk barbecue and grilling with on a regular basis. And you find him here on this show every so often. A guy by the name of Michael McDearman joining us here on the show. Michael, how are you, buddy?
How are you, Greg? I'm doing fantastic.
And it's freezing cold up here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city. Are you in Tennessee right now, or are you pretty much out for the next foreseeable 6-7 months?
I leave tomorrow. I fly in and fly out, so I'm lucky enough to have come back home and been able to help some neighbors out and some people out that I know. We had a lot of ice down here, so a lot of power lines down. Some people are still without power, and you can't even get on the roads to get to them. So we've got some disaster relief going on and some folks from the emergency services who are really doing a stellar job down here.
Michael McDearman joining me here on the show. All right, McD, when we talk about Sam's Club and the National Barbecue Series that it has been putting on here over the last handful of years, every year it seems to get a little bit more anticipated and popular and growing in size, and people want to take part in it because we all know, look, if you can string together over the course of many months 3 really good cooks, you have the opportunity of gaining not only adulation and fame, but a pretty nice sum of money as well, and that's why people want to get into the Sam's Club stuff. So you've been overseeing it now here, I believe this is the second year. As your time with Sam's Club, how have you kind of seen it evolve? Because, well, I mean, you've pretty much been with it since the beginning, doing the high heat stuff there previous to getting the director's role there. But how have you seen the growth of this particular series since its inception to where we are today?
Well, it can be documented in time. The registration and how many teams have registered within even the first minute and 2 minutes has grown each year, and people get faster and faster on their mouse. I tell you, they click and get on board, and they're ready to roll. Right now, we've only got, I believe, one open spot in, is it Maine, with 29 teams, and the rest are full. So we're ready to roll.
The first event took place this past weekend in Kissimmee, Florida. Were you surprised that this particular one was, 7-8 short of the full lot of 30 teams?
The FBA and GBA teams in the region and a lot of folks who compete down here or down there have shared with me that they've gone and made the drive to the regional and things, and they've enjoyed it. I think that it's a situation where scheduling comes into play and early in the year, but I do know that there are some things we want to look at from the weekend. We're always trying to build a better mousetrap, and there are a couple things that I'd like to consider if the Sam's Club Tour carries on next year.
When you look at Florida, I guess as a whole, obviously the FBA is a pretty big stronghold down there for obvious reasons. They're, kind of a third of the way through their competition season at this point in the year. They don't run similar fiscal or competition calendars as the Kansas City Barbecue Society does, 2 different sanctioning bodies, of course. Do you think some of that has to do with the fact that in order to really be in that team of the year contention for Florida Barbecue Association, you have to cook like every event? You can't do the 10 best like KCBS does, and perhaps that might have drawn away from some of the competitions, because if you're looking for FBA Team of the Year honors, you got to be cooking pretty much every single weekend for that.
Well, and that's impressive that teams go after it, and they're so passionate about the sport. I think it's a choice on an individual basis. I don't think there's blanket statements that can be made about it.
Michael McDearman joining me here on the show, talking about Sam's Club. All right, so as we look over, and I'm going to ask you to speculate well above and beyond as far as time frames are concerned, but it's super popular again this year, as you mentioned. There's maybe only one open spot here. We're going to be leading to the big event in Bentonville, Arkansas in November, when all the other big events take place. Do you see from previous years and teams and these other the teams that have won and seen success in this particular series, do you have a small handful of favorites that you think might make it down to Bentonville and have a shot at winning this whole thing already?
There is one of our competitions that's taking place in Vegas, one in Reno. I don't know if they would even touch it placing odds on it. There's a great number of teams out there that are just fantastic, but it would be an interesting thing to see all the Jimmy the Greeks of the world or whatever put odds on it.
Michael, having been around competition barbecue in some form or fashion, especially in this particular series, are you surprised, or maybe that's probably a bad question, but maybe the better question is, are you surprised at the level of competition that you have seen grow year after year after year?
I really am not. You've got competitors out there that are constantly trying to improve the passion that's within our sport. Everybody wants to constantly get better. Even, the folks who are maybe more seasoned in our sport, like the Johnny Triggs and things, are even always trying to pick up a new thing or not just teach. They realize that you never stop learning. And I think that's a beautiful thing that we've grown from, what was it, maybe 15 years ago, that type of time frame, where we were cooking more select and choice briskets, what we could pick up at the local market, and our palates have changed. The judges have changed as far as what they desire and what they like. And I think that, a lot of the teams cooking with prime and wagyu and specialty meats and taking it to the next level on a culinary side. I also think it's interesting and the exposure I see at World Food Championships. So you're seeing these huge numbers of chefs and all kinds of culinary types, where it's folks that may be recipe creators or even just folks who are specialty cooks or terrific at things in their own home. How many were in the top 10 that were competitive barbecue cooks? I counted 4, and there may be 5 out of 9 or 10 of the top categories. You're sitting there seeing all these barbecue teams up there on stage. It's really a testament to the passion for cooking that the barbecue teams have.
Michael McDearman joining me here on the show, talking about the Sam's Club National Barbecue Series here 2015. Michael, if I could, I guess I'm a little remiss not asking you right up front, but for the folks that maybe aren't familiar with it, if you could just give us a little thumbnail sketch on how the series works and the associated payouts.
Absolutely. Well, Sam's Club sees a great connection with their fresh meat department and the way that Sam's is able to provide a lot of small businesses, whether it be caterers and restaurants or even families who are looking to cook quality food for whether it's their customers or their family members or others. And so what we've done is create a tournament style, which is basically like the NCAA basketball brackets in the spring. We've got a 3-round tournament where teams qualify each round, and there's 30 teams in the first round. The top 6 move on to the regional. At the regional level, the top 10 move on to the finals. So 50 teams compete at the finals for $150,000. And the least amount of money that we compete in the Sam's Club Tour is $10,000 at the local, $20,000 at the regional level. So fantastic money all the way around. And, you can get involved whether you're a judge or whether you're a team, not by politics of who you know or anything along those lines. It's laid out there for all comers to click that mouse as quick as possible and to register themselves and get on board for a terrific potential competition. And like you said, put 3 of those together, and goodness, you can walk away $80,000-$90,000 life-changing money.
Absolutely. Michael McDearman joining me here on the show. Michael, for the last 9 minutes of the interview, I do want to change up a little bit because, you're probably one of the more diverse folks within the industry. It's not just barbecue. It's implements. It's classes. It's grilling stuff. It's promotion and getting with businesses and all this stuff that a lot of people talk about wanting to do. But once they realize the time commitments and things that it takes and having to have a personality and all this stuff, perhaps they fall a little short or realize maybe they don't have the intestinal fortitude to get it done, but you're certainly a little bit different than that. You've actually taken to another level. You've gone and gotten into the restaurant business. So I guess first, congratulations, because it's not just one, it's 2 items. And I would like to start out just by asking you about both of them and, how you got into that.
Well, it all goes back to the roots and doing what you love. I don't hit the snooze bar any day, and I love being called, theoretically, they say, I'm the busiest man in barbecue. I think it's just my persistence, and I keep going after things, and you keep trying until you get there. And I see quite a few very successful teams out there who have restaurants and are following their passion in that way. An opportunity presented itself. I've become a co-owner of Seven Senses restaurant in Cookeville, Tennessee. It actually serves my mentor's spices on a lot of the dishes. Tony Stone in barbecue. Wow. He has Papa Tony's spices, and we actually use it. He's from my hometown of Cookeville, Tennessee, so we use it on the shrimp and some other items there. And then have just acquired Westside Deli, which will be a nice New York-style deli restaurant where we'll be able to have a lot more capabilities, and it's both in the historic area of Cookeville, Tennessee, so a big growing roots and investment in my community and hometown because I really value where I grew up.
Do you have a lot of restaurant experience that you can bring to the table, or is it just more of an investment opportunity that you saw, some way to kind of, as you said, reinvest back into the community that's given you so much and try and make it a go that way?
Well, in my history, I actually have had an event planning and catering business for about 4.5 years. That was, when was that? Early 2000s. And so with that, I've gotten a lot of experience there. And then my management and sales experience from working even for companies like Berkshire Hathaway corporations and those types of things. So I've got a lot that I bring to the table in that way with customer service, and you chime in with a little bit of management and sales, and it's a nice little blend we come to the table with.
So what's the long-term plan with both restaurants? Is it just to make sure that they're running successfully, obviously both fiscally and producing good products, or do you hope to get into something where maybe you're dabbling in more than 2 at some point?
You always look for opportunity, and when it knocks, I always like to open the door and at least hear what folks have to say. So we're looking for opportunities already and continued growth. It's sort of like, I like to compare it to the way I grew up. And we'd go fishing in streams where the water's moving fast, and then you'd also find areas that are stagnant. And that stagnant water, it doesn't usually have the terrific fresh fish and that type of thing. It's more slow, and maybe some things grow there. I like to keep moving. I like to keep going and have that action and activity around me.
Michael McDearman joining me here on the show. Michael, I say getting into the restaurant business can be very risky. So, when you're approached, or, I think you said you had a partner with this, what are the things that you look at, especially for the folks that might be considering doing something similar to you wherever they're at? What are like some of the 2, 3, 4 biggest things that you need to look at a existing business instead of just starting one up from the ground up to make sure that you're not making any mistakes or pitfalls that you're looking for to avoid, to make sure that you're giving your best foot forward in order for success?
Well, they always say location, location, location is a key rule as far as looking at a business. But you also don't just go into it with a good recipe. You know, we've all got good food and we can produce, but we've got to have folks that will work for us and understand the sales process so that we can communicate it with our customers. You also have to have a marketing plan in place, understanding the folks that you want to pull in as customers from your community, what the need is. Are you just going to be the same as everybody else, or are you going to differentiate yourself? And is there enough interest there to look at that will result in the bottom line that you need to stay afloat? It is a very difficult business because it takes a lot of different facets to look at, whether it's marketing, sales, training, constant putting out of fires, budget control. You have to play a lot of different roles or wear a lot of different hats, as people say. So it's a very challenging industry, and I look forward to it. I'm all about stepping up to the plate and jumping right in. You know, you even mentioned some of the other things that I've gotten into, and bless Andy Allen of Rooftop Barbecue out west. I know that y'all are aware of him and that Rooftop Barbecue sauce that he developed. At the World Food Championships, he had World Food Championship pork when he was out there competing in the barbecue competition. Come to find out, he used what it was a game changer. It was a chicken forming and cooking tool that I had developed out of cast iron and had made in the local foundry here down near Chattanooga. Anyway, he's using that with his pork, and I'll let him tell in his class how he used it on Money Muscle and his shredded pork, and how he's using it for heat retention and things. But it's just interesting to look at the sport you love, try and find solutions for things that you see as hurdles that we try and get past or get over. It's a wonderful thing, you know. He's taking that, not just for chicken as I intended it, but applying it to the pork when they created the separation rule too. So a bunch of different things there.
Michael, in regards to Sam's Club here, and I appreciate the time tonight. I know you're very busy. Where are you guys going to be at next?
Oh, Daphne, Alabama. Then we're off to Shreveport, Fort Worth, Tucson, doing the whole West Coast tour. Really excited to be out there and see familiar faces, but also a lot of new ones too. Still a lot of fresh faces coming to the Sam's Club tour and to see the growth of our sport. Last year, I believe we had between 7 and 8% of the KCBS contests. After they dole out this year's $500,000, I love saying that, $500,000. The total over the past 5 years they've done the Sam's Club tour will be, what is it, $2.3 million in prize money for the sport we love. It's mind-boggling. And to be a part of that is fantastic. I look forward to seeing everybody out there. Come out and enjoy it. And who knows, even if you're a backyarder, come out and we'll be doing workshops there during little seminars and demos. And who knows, the teams may even share their grandpa's secret with you.
Mike, let me ask you one last question here. I turn you loose, promise. It's been such a staple of Kansas City Barbecue Society, the Sam's Club series every year. Are you surprised, being a business guy, that there hasn't been some type of a long-term deal that has been able to be secured and put in place instead of just hoping it gets renewed year after year?
I think that the mindset of, Sam's has made the statements at the awards dinner, even as recently as this year, and also at the on stage out at the finals competition. They value barbecue. They see a great relationship and partnership with the whole competitive barbecue industry. And I think that they reassess their moves every year. I think it's a common practice in the corporate culture of today.
Michael McDearman is widely considered to be the busiest guy in the barbecue community right now. You can see him trolling around Sam's Club. Say hi. He's a great guy, and maybe every once in a while you see him join in through the helicopters and G5s of this show. Appears live every once in a while in studio. Michael, always appreciate the time, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Greg, take care and stay warm.
You got it. Well, that might be hard, but we'll try. There he is, Michael McDearman, ladies and gentlemen. Stay warm. Oh, my God. I can't promise that. It's negative 8 degrees right now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. No! You know, it's the thing that I always say. People want to be successful in barbecue. People want to make money in barbecue, in the industry. And then they realize they got to work for it. You know, put in some work.
Oh, no!
Yeah, oh no. McD is not that guy. He's about to put in some work. Traveling and directing. Now he's in the restaurant business. Check him out if you're in Cooksville, Tennessee. You know that food's going to be good. All right, we got Matt Barber coming up out of the break. Folks, if you blew it on Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. You can recover, yeah. You can visit StephenDeFranco.com and peruse their inventory. Stephen DeFranco, trusted jeweler of this show and most people in the barbecue community at this point. Once you find what you like, here's what you do. You call them, 440-943-2700. 440-943-2700. You tell them you're a barbecue brother or sister. You listen to the show each and every week. You tell them that I tell you to call in. Say, hey, I found this watch, or I found this necklace, or these pair of earrings, or I want to get a wedding ring made, or whatever. He's going to take the time to sit down and have a little counsel with you, make sure that what you're looking to do is going to fit your budget and the feelings you're going to convey. He's not going to try and push you into anything that you don't want. He's not going to try and pad the pocket like those punks and douchebags do at the big box stores in the mall. Shall remain nameless. No. I mean, don't get me wrong. Steve wants to earn your business. But he wants to earn your business also the time after that. Maybe you have kids. They get old enough where they're going to be starting to buy jewelry, and now you're going to be referring kids to him as well. That's what we're looking for. If you're in the local Cleveland area, head on out due east from downtown to historic Willoughby, Ohio at the corner of 91 and 84. See Steve. Tell him I sent you on over. Again, the number 440-943-2700. Ask for Steve directly. And the website, StephenDeFranco, DIFRANCO, StephenDeFranco.com. Everything ships for free as well with Steve. StephenDeFranco.com, 440-943-2700. Dare I say, the hottest pitmaster in all of barbecue currently on this show next. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Uh-oh. Yeah, this... Oh, crap. 602. That's the right one? Now I don't remember if I called the right number. That's got to be the right one. All right. Joining me now, well, geez, oh, Pete. It seems like we might have just talked to this guy last week at this same exact time segment. All right. I don't know if I'm calling the right number. I got to check. No. Here we go. Gotta dial the right number, boys. Yeah. Right. No, I'm not using a Yugo computer this week. Come on. All right, so Sam's Club kicked off this past weekend in Kissimmee, Florida. A guy who won a huge event, not this past weekend. Well, he did win a huge event this past weekend, but the weekend before that, he won a huge event as well. You saw him on this show. He recapped Apopka, Florida, summarily grabbed all of the Barbecue Central show karma, went out to Sam's Club and a different sanctioning body and kicked everybody's ass and brought home a grand championship at the local qualifier. Matt Barber from Hot Wachulas. Matt, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing great. How you doing?
Matt, you are now probably a firm believer that the Barbecue Central show karma actually exists, right?
Absolutely.
That's right. You show up on the show, and the next day or the next weekend you go out, compete, you just win. I mean, it couldn't be any easier than that, right?
That's right. I need to be on every week.
Well, we'll see what happens this coming weekend, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you were in 2 weeks ago. We were last Tuesday. We were talking about the win at Apopka. It was 96 teams. It was huge, big FBA event, obviously. A lot of great teams out there. And then a week later, you skitter around and go to Kissimmee in the KCBS event and walk away with grand championship there as well, securing your place in a more distant regional final in South Haven, Mississippi. So I guess as we look at this past weekend, and there's some other follow-up questions that I want to ask you here, but, how did this cook? I mean, substantially far less teams, to the tune of probably 4 times at least, almost 5 times. How did this cook go for you, and I guess what's the mood going into a Sam's Club local qualifying event, knowing you just have to hit 1 through 6 in order to move on?
It was weird. Of course, you can't. At the Sam's Club, you can't show up you can't set up or do anything till Friday morning. The nice thing about it was only about 30 minutes from my house. I think I got it at 10 o'clock. It actually went really freaking smooth, and usually, it's that's like the kiss of death. I mean, nothing went wrong. Nothing, everything was right on track, right on schedule the whole freaking weekend. It was bizarre. I even mentioned it to Michael. He's like, "Oh crap!" I'm like, "I know, that's the kiss of death. It's running so smooth. Something's going to happen." But it actually went great. I had a good, solid cook. I mean, I was happy with everything.
Are pitmasters so superstitious when things are going that well that something you're afraid that something is actually going to come up and bite you in the ankles?
I've become more superstitious the last year. I think it's as bad as baseball. It's I've got to wear a certain color shirt for awards. I've got to have the freaking liter of chocolate milk Saturday morning. all these stupid little things that I've done, and I'm sure everybody else is the same way. I know Dana, Big Papa, he's got to hang his flags up off his trailer, for good luck. But yeah, there's tons of stupid little rituals and habits that we get into that we try not to change. But yeah, it's crazy how superstitious we are.
All right, so as we kind of look over the individual results, I mean, it was, pretty kind of nip and tuck through the first 3 calls here. I'm kind of racing over to the KCBS website here to make sure I don't say anything incorrect. But I believe between you and it was Smokin' Moe's, kind of, nip and tuck there through chicken, pork, and ribs, and I guess kind of where you separate yourself literally from the rest of the pack is brisket. You finished second overall in brisket, and he was where did he finish at? 9th place. So there was roughly 9 points that separate you between the brisket scores there. Otherwise, I mean, it was I would imagine previous to the brisket call, you might have been a little worried going through the overalls.
Yeah, it was pretty tight. I mean, after pork, I knew I'd at least made the top 6. But it's with that. I mean, I think there's like 23 teams, and you just never know. Like in a pop, because the point spread between first and 40th was about 10 points. So when there's 23 teams, it's like, well, what's the point spread? Is first to 10th 10 points, or is it 2 points. You never know, and it's always kind of a guessing game. Once I got that second place brisket, I was pretty confident that I had it. But up until that point, you know, it was kind of a crapshoot. You know, I could have been, you know, 5th or 6th, you know, but yeah, this was one of the few contests where I, after the brisket call, I wasn't worried about where I was placing overall.
When you go into an event like this where you need to hit, you know, between 1 and 6 to move on to the regionals, and when you get in the regional, you need to hit between 1 and 10 to move on to the finals. Is it always to go in to win, regardless of how the staggers line up to move on to the next round, or do you kind of say, well, winning would be nice, but I do just want to finish between 1 and 6?
Yeah, that was my goal, just 1 to 6. You know, and that's, you know, all I can do is cook the best that I can. If I'm happy with the cook, I mean, that's pretty much all I can do. It's up to the barbecue gods and the judging gods at that point. But yeah, my goal going into it was, you know, I thought there's no way I can win 3 in a row. You know, if I just make the top 6, I'll be happy.
So when you go, 2 weeks ago, you're in a Pop Goods Florida Barbecue Association event in which you're extremely comfortable cooking. When you come into a KCBS event like this, obviously you're adding the garnish to the box. Do you change any like flavor profiles or anything like that, or is the meat cooking process and the flavor profiles strictly the same regardless of sanctioning body?
So for me, it's identical. I don't change anything. I mean, I even cook the same amount of meat. You know, it seems weird cooking like 24 thighs to put 6 in a box, but you know, for me, everything's based on, you know, I want to have the same number of pieces of chicken in my chicken brine for the same amount of time. You know, I want to eat up the same amount of space in my cooker for each category, you know, because everything's so time critical and sensitive that you know, if you change, you know, instead of cooking 4 butts, you cook 3, you know, the airflow in your cooker is going to change a little bit. You might end up overcooking something that you know, I just leave it the same. I mean, I don't change anything.
Do you find, Matt, and maybe I'm drawing speculation on something that I shouldn't, but just kind of past history and seeing, you know, teams that are traditionally KCBS creeping down into the FBA don't seem to do nearly as well as the teams that'll creep out of the FBA in the KCBS events. They seem to do a little bit better crossing over into sanctioning bodies. Do you find similar items?
You know, a little bit. It's, I mean, there have been a couple teams that have come down this year that have done pretty well. Extra Mile's done really well down here. Killer Bees usually does pretty well in FBA contests, and you know, Lang Cookers. I mean, they do a bunch of KCBS and FBAs, and Myron usually does pretty well too. So it's, you know, I think where they get in trouble is they're not used to cooking that much food. You know, if you know, for FBA, when you know, you almost have to cook 4 butts. If you don't, you're not going to have enough meat for the box. You know, and a brisket, you know, it has to be an 18-pounder, because if you cook a 12, even if it's perfect, you're still not going to have enough for the box. Because I mean, those boxes weigh 4 pounds easy. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous, and you know, that's the biggest issue, because it's you know, even Danielle DeVicki was down for a pop, and she was like, I had no freaking idea how difficult it would be to make a chicken box without a garnish, because you know, you got to put so much crap in there, and you know, it's just that's the hardest part, I think, is the presentation and just the amount of meat you got to put in a box when there's no garnish.
Matt, were you surprised that only 22 teams turned out for this particular event?
Yeah, I was real surprised. There were a lot of FBA teams that I would have expected to, you know, to have cooked it. but and also, at the Lakeland test, which was the end of January, I mean, nothing was even said about this contest, which was a month later. So, I thought that would have been a great prime opportunity to promote it when there's 140 teams there. But there still were a lot of FBA teams that I would have expected that could that didn't, which, part of that they say is just because the regional is so far away, which it is, but, my thinking is, even if you qualify, you don't have to go. I mean, it's still, you don't have to drive. But, for me, a contest is a contest. And if there's one nearby, I'm going to try and make it.
Matt, where are you going to be cooking at next week? Or are you cooking next week?
I think I'm cooking for the next 8 weeks. Next week will be Haines City, or this week will be Haines City. It's another close one. It's another SBA contest. I'm trying to think what's the week after that. It might be, I know there's another KCBS coming up in Kissimmee soon. I'll have to check the calendar, but I know I'm booked at least for the next, up through the beginning of May. I'm cooking every weekend.
Given the amount of wins in a row this early in the season, is Team Hot Wachulas the hottest team on the barbecue circuit right now?
No, I don't know.
The answer is yes. Of course you are. Don't be so modest, for crying out loud.
I know I'm the damn luckiest. That's for damn sure. But I looked up the KCBS points chase and I printed them out today. I'm like, man, I got it. And I look on the counter. I think I've got 20 KCBSs on the book. So I'm going to try and make a run and see how well I can do. This should be an interesting year.
Absolutely, and I think if you take a quick look, you see Hot Wachulas, Team of the Year, Florida Barbecue Association points race, sitting atop. And if you look at the KCBS Team of the Year points race, again, very early. Second overall right now in KCBS Team of the Year right now. So you take a snapshot of that, and that's one you can hold on to. It's pretty cool, regardless of where we're at in the seasons. Matt Barber.
Yeah, it'll change this weekend, I'm sure. But yeah, I wanted to save that for the old scrapbook.
Matt Barber is the pitmaster of Hot Wachulas. He is the 2013 Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year, and he just won the first Sam's Club 2015 local qualifier, moving on to the South Haven, Mississippi Regional, which will take place in September, I believe. Matt, always appreciate the time, man. Good luck, and we'll probably have you on next week to talk about the grand champion you just won from the new show, Karma.
I hope so. Hope so.
There he is, Matt Barber, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I mean, it doesn't not work, right? This is a guaranteed thing. Matt comes on. We talk about what happened the previous week. He summarily goes out to the next competition and does all of the winning. That's right. All right, folks, if you didn't already know, Big Papa Smokers is the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue. The #1 dealer of Mac pellet grills in the world. Big Papa Smokers features a wide selection of American-made grills and smokers, such as the Old Hickory ACEBP Gateway Drum Smoker, even a drum kit that gives everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Papa Smokers has also made a name for itself in recent years by crafting an award-winning line of championship rubs, from flavors like Sweet Money to Happy Ending. The rubs have a hand in winning almost every major barbecue competition, including the 2012 and 13 American Royal, the World Series of Barbecue, the 2014 and 12 Jack Daniels, the 2013 Kings for Challenge, the 2014 Houston Livestock and Rodeo, and the 2014 King of the Smoke. Don't think BPS can be pigeonholed into competitive barbecue either. BPS rubs have become so well known that they have been picked up nationwide by a restaurant chain, BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. With 4 of the 9 BPS rubs featured on their permanent menu and amid glowing reviews, BPS rubs are proven to be a great addition to anyone's pantry or party, for that matter. Big Papa has also banded together with fellow California-based rub maker Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these two California-based rub makers have cornered the market on competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profile that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. Big Papa's website also features an online meat locker with top-quality meats from Snake River Farm shipped to your front door. From American Kobe beef, caribou to pork, Double R Ranch meats, Big Papa Meat Locker has something for every type of barbecue aficionado. Committed to bringing you the best barbecue on the market, Big Papa's has recently added a new barbecue sauce to their lineup. Swap Boys barbecue sauce, a fine swine sauce, Granny's barbecue sauce. These are the new hot sauce, considered to be the new kids on the block this barbecue season. BPS has also created a unique band ambassador program called the BPS Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind, Big Papa has been able to do all this within only 5 years of being in business, turning the competition barbecue world on its head, providing customers with the latest barbecue products, becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain, and benefiting charities across the U.S. is just the beginning for the good folks over at Big Papa Smokers. BigPapaSmokers.com. BigPapaSmokers.com. We will be returning to wrap up the first hour in just a few minutes. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. John Dawson weighing in. Remps, perhaps Mike McD could use some help on the tour. Maybe the hardest working boy in barbecue. Shilling with Rich available. Hashtag barbecue boy wonder. No. John, I see you working. I don't think that's really what should happen. John, I'm not going to do that other thing you just said. John on a roll. I know a lot of people, if you are active on the Twitter, wondering, hoping, or hoping not, that I address the latest controversy amongst the barbecue people on the Twitter. I may or may not have thoughts about that in the second hour, during the second take segment. If you want to join in, love to have you. 216-220-0966. The email address, greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. I'm helping my man Sterling Smith do time zone correction adjustments. Sterling, add 3. That's all right. Thanks again to Matt Barber for coming on last segment, talking about the inaugural win at the 2015 first local qualifier, Kissimmee, that feeds the South Haven. Yeah! We'll get a little recap in that as well. All right, we're going to flop over to the second hour. Love to hear from you if you want to join in. Going to refresh my water here so I don't dry out. Very nasally. It's dry here in Cleveland with all the below zero. All right, you are listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now.
Hi, this is Bobby Rempe from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Hello? Did I miss the intro? Did anybody hear the intro? Let's start again.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
Well, you're damn right you like the Oingo Boingo song, Rats. That's going to get ripped off YouTube, I can tell you that. Third-party content could be blocked in some countries. I know. Hey, Jeff Elser, screw you! Oh, no. I was hoping I could just skate away. That made it all the way to Las Vegas? Land of cocaine and hookers? The Browns' new logo? If you think... Jeff, I appreciate the ball busting, by the way. If you heard about it there, can you only imagine the way that they are... They have been amping it up and playing. Oh, it's only X amount of hours until the hell? It's only X amount of hours until the new logos. They're interviewing Adam Shiner, part of the brass in Berea, Ohio. Well, I can't reveal anything. It'll probably kill me. What? Kill you? Why? For the same freaking helmet?
Get that big stuff out of here.
Oh, my God. As I posted on the Cleveland Browns website, Now, I know there's some people going, whoa, they haven't introduced the new uniforms yet. That's really going to be different. Well, if it's so much different than the new helmet, which includes maybe a deeper hue of orange and a brown face mask. Brown face mask. That changes it up. That's really going to put us over the top. So as the Cleveland Browns put on their Facebook page, new look, new logo, blah, 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 I wrote, welcome to the new Browns, same as the old Browns. Douchebag move, and then I dropped this soundbite on them.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Yeah, because guess what? Oh, no, we suck again. A new orange helmet with brown face mask does not overcome the fact that we have 0 quarterbacks.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Again. What's the old saying in football? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have...
Nothing.
That's right. What was that, Rod? If you have 2 quarterbacks, what do you have?
Nothing.
That's right. Nothing. So all logos and uniforms and whatever, you could wear stark white if we had a great quarterback and we were winning. I mean, who would care about any of this? Nobody would care. New logo, new uniform. Pathetic. Luckily, we got LeBron back. Matt Boer is right. We got a suspended wide receiver as well. But I believe the San Francisco 49ers cut Ted Ginn Jr. He's from Cleveland. Do I smell a you-know-what coming? A little love connection? Yeah! Come on, make it happen. Ted Ginn Jr. in his prime could run 27 miles an hour. Like, consistently. Not a burst up to, but at his flat top was 27 miles an hour. Blake Moody, Hoyer is pretty good for somebody who sucks.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Come on, man. Don't bring Brian Hoyer to me. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, folks, still to come tonight, Sterling Ball will be coming up in about 9 minutes from now to talk about high-level guinea pig stuff. You know. And then we will talk to Sterling Smith around 10:35, 8:35 Mountain Time. Luton Booty Pitmaster, he won guinea pig. As we talked about last hour, the 2015 Sam's Club Series is now officially underway, and the first event took place this past weekend in Kissimmee, Florida. This was the first of what will be many local qualifiers that send the top 16 to the regional final that'll take place in South Haven, Mississippi on September 9th. Those teams moving on are as follows. Of course, winning, we had him on last segment, Matt Barber, Hot Wachula. You know, I don't know if you're a fan of this show and you go back years and years, but before I knew Matt Barber of Hot Wachulas, there was only one person I knew from Wachula. Does anybody know who that is? In the chat room. Anybody know anybody from Wachula that used to call this show? I do. Miss that guy. Where's he at? You name him. And you get a shout out here on the show. Reserve Grand Champion, Smokin' Moe's Barbecue, 5 points behind Matt Barber. So, pretty stiff pounding on Matt's behalf. Wicked Q came in third. Uncle Kenny's Barbecue, fourth. Hickory Prime was fifth. And rounding out the top 6, Extra Mile Barbecue. So, the spread between 1 and 6 was about 17 points or so. No, not Jim Elser. By the way, Jim Elser is getting ready for his barbecue class. All of his stickers came in. Maybe you didn't see it on his Facebook page. If we briefly recap where the Team of the Year races are for your top sanctioning bodies, the Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year standings currently top 5, Hot Wachulas, Sweet Smoke Q, Jim Elser, friend of the show. Blitzkrieg Barbecue, they have been on the show. Big Papa's Country Kitchen, Dana Hills, he's been on the show. And rounding out the top 5 for Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year, Cedar Creek Barbecue. They have never been on the show. And then in the Kansas City Barbecue Society's Team of the Year, as of today, which is February 24th, Hickory Pram is in the lead. Hot Wachulas, second overall, so first and second, respectively, FBA and KCBS. Donnie Bray, your current KCBS Team of the Year, is in third. Warren County Pork Choppers. Rub Bagby from Swamp Boys, also a FBA guy, is currently sitting fourth in the KCBS. And rounding out the top 5, Smoking Buttheads. I'm not making that up. Smoking Buttheads is rounding out the top 5, Kansas City Barbecue Society Team of the Year. So that's where we're sitting at February. And again, I believe we're roughly a third of the way of Florida Barbecue Association. People would know a little bit better than me, but we're about a third of the way through, right? Oh, sorry, Jeff. Those are your stickers? Yeah, that's my bad. Nice stickers. Nice stickers, douche. Where do you put those? On your car bumper? On your Honda Cube? All right. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. John Dawson, Patio Daddy-O Barbecue. The Browns, 3 words. Shine the turd. Absolutely. Apologies to Sterling Smith. I miscalculated time zones. I thought he was Pacific time. Negative. I believe. Are you Mountain time? Hook me up with what? A sticker? What am I, 8?
Get that big stuff out of here.
So the question of the day is, am I going to reveal the goings-on of Twitter with some blogger? And the simple question the simple answer to that question is no. Why won't I? Do I fear wrath? Am I scared of what could potentially be wreaked back upon me? Valid questions, of course. However, do we need to briefly go over the rules of the show? Do we? Well, we know rule number 1 of the show, right? What's rule number 1 of the show? Rule number 1 of the show. Don't get hooked. I will abide by my rules. Oh, no, there's rules to the show, Sterling Smith. Don't get hooked. Rule number 2 of the show. If it's free, it's me. If it's free, it's me. There's another rule that I can't think of right off the top. Hold on a second here. All right, we go to area code 941. Name and where you're calling from.
My name is Dan from Wachula.
Dan! Oh, my God!
I know. I'm so happy. I listen every week.
What?
Greg?
You listen every week?
I listen every week.
I don't remember the last time you called in, Dan.
Well, I listen every week, but not recently. I found out that you're on television, and so my friends told me if you could tune in, and then they called me, and they told me that I could. You just asked a question, so I know the answer. It's me.
That's right. It's you. It's Dan from Wachula. This is an amazing experience. I've just had Matt Barber on from Hot Wachulas.
I know him.
You do? You know a Hot Wachula?
No.
Oh, wait. You don't know Matt?
Well, no. I know Wachula, but I don't know Dan. But maybe we could get together. He and I could meet.
Do you want? I can probably arrange a meeting with you and Matt if you want, Dan.
Oh, please do. Oh, that would be so fun.
What else is going on, Dan?
Well, we could meet.
Okay. We could meet. Thank you, Dan. I'm sure Matt is happy to meet you.
Nothing.
Oh, no. Well, he's resurfaced, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Dan's back. Uh-oh. Dan's back. Dan from Wachula. I had been calling him out for months, maybe even a year. This is the night he listens. Wow. Man, that felt good all over. Dan's back in. Dan gets his weird sexual reference off, just like he wants to do each and every time. I'm still trying to figure out. All right. Folks, the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic temperature control devices. You know it. You love it. TheBBQGuru.com or 800-288-GURU. These are devices that you set the pit temperature, and it'll keep your pit running at that set temperature all the way through the cook. If you are a busy working professional like me and you don't have time to sit around and tend those pits, this is a product that will take care of it for you. A couple different ones to choose from, of course. I would always recommend the CyberQ Wi-Fi or the other end of the spectrum, the Party Q. That starts at $149, runs on AA batteries, can go from cooker to cooker to cooker. It's great. If you're in the market for a cooker, Onyx oven. It's fully insulated, holds a ton of meat, accommodates half and full pans for food service, working seamlessly, of course, with the Barbecue Guru pit temperature control device. Do yourself a favor. Head on over to the website, thebbqguru.com, and check out their products. If you have any questions about what to order, call them directly. 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. They will make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. That's 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru is a breakthrough in barbecue technology. Why can't I remember the damn rules of my own show? Rule number 1. Rule number 2. Rule number 3. If it's free, it's me. There's rule number 3. Rule number 2, don't get hooked. Rule number 1. I don't remember rule number 1 of the show. What's rule number 1 of the show? Come on. All right, Sterling Ball up next. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Man, I am pumped up. The Dan showed back up again. I can't believe it. How many times do you have to call somebody out on an internet show before they call back in again? I mean, it's had to have been a year and a half, minimum a year and a half. Dan's back in. Wow, unbelievable. All right, joining me now, the creator of the King of the Smokers, the creator of this past weekend's guinea pig, and we're going to be talking with him extensively about that tonight, maybe some other things. He is a sponsor of this show. He is a friend of this show and a friend of mine. We race over to the hotline and welcome back the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers, Sterling Ball, joining me here on the show. Sterling, how are you, buddy?
I'm great, Greg. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Sterling. Appreciate you asking, and as always, appreciate you making time for the show. Big weekend for you this past, obviously. Of course, everybody knows about King of the Smoker, and everybody wants to find some way on the invite list to get down there towards the end of the year. But, you know, we turn right around a couple months later.
Chocolates.
You like chocolates? Is that what it is?
Yeah, chocolates help.
Is it firm chocolate, or do you like the stuff that has the crappy stuff in the middle?
No, I like Woodhouse chocolates.
Oh, all right, the good stuff.
They're a team out here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, it is funny, but we do the guinea pig thing. It's interesting because both the king smoker and the guinea pig, I took a lot of abuse. I mean, I've had plastic surgery to fix some of the scars, but this year's guinea pig really was what I always hoped it could be, and I think it was really, really a fun contest in a beautiful venue, Mission Hills. But there was $400 to enter at the kids' queue where they got to keep the Weber Smoky Joe, and it included dessert. It was great meat, and especially the briskets by Snake River Farms with their Double R Ranch. And then it was the idea of finish a contest and not have it where 90% go home with nothing. I mean, 60% last year cash to check, 59.18% cash to check this year.
All right, so just for simple mathematics for the people that don't know, this year's guinea pig competition that took place in Rancho Mirage, California, saw a team roster of 49 teams in this event. This is pretty incredible. Right. I mean, that's a pretty good turnout, right?
Well, one team canceled the last one. The whole model is built on 50 teams. We sold it out pretty much in a day, too. So that's there is a demand for this, and that's in spite of the fact that KCBS is unwilling to give us Team of the Year points. But obviously, the teams that are there don't care. They'd rather cook in a controlled environment. I think I would love it if KCBS would work with us on it. I mean,
what's the holdup? I mean, what's the deal?
They don't give points to the King of the Smokers because it's an invitational and they provide the meat.
Right.
But at the same time, they give Team of the Year points to the World Food Championship, which is an invitational, and most times don't cook all four food. So I don't really understand, Greg, why they don't.
So, to me, I guess I can see why King of the Smoker isn't, because it is an invitational. But here you have the opportunity of joining just like any other sanction or just like any other contest if you can make your way out there and get in. Regardless of if the meats are being provided or not, everybody has equal opportunity to get in, so I don't know why they wouldn't give you a definitive answer on why they won't give you the points.
It's Rule 7, and it's the provided meat. Let me explain something, because I know there are some pitmasters out there. I know David Buska thinks that the selection of meat is integral, but the most important thing to me is I'm not trying to replace anything in barbecue. I'm trying to give the pitmasters another choice. And I'm trying to give them one that's geared more around family. I'm trying to give them one that's cost controlled. And I want to redistribute the prize money. So where somebody, if the slot machines in Las Vegas rang once an hour, there wouldn't be many people in the casino. And I really believe that they've got to distribute the money better.
Sterling Ball joining me here on the show talking about the guinea pig that took place this past weekend. All right, Sterling, if you could, maybe just give a little bit of an overview on the concept of the guinea pig and what you get if you ante up your entry fee in.
Okay, well, what you're capable of winning this year. My second favorite, Sterling Smith, a Luton Booty, a West Coast offense team. Back-to-back GCs for Sterling and Molly and the family. I think that they're pretty much, you got hot Wachulas. You got a bunch of teams that are very hot, but certainly Luton Booty's hot. And it was a $450 entry fee, and I think they walked away with $1,630. I know that the 11th place team, Simply Marvelous, I know the contest cost him $150 to cook, coming in 11th. So the distribution of money, you still have, I think, an adequate profit when you win, but look, if a contest is between $800 and $1,000, and you can get 4 calls and not make any money, I know that's not good for barbecue, and I know the younger families are sending money they probably shouldn't to compete. And what this does, it's a level playing field. Everyone's cooking the same meat, and one of the biggest challenges, Greg, is I give them 9 chicken thighs. Okay, 3 racks of ribs, 2 butts, and 1 Snake River Farms Double R Ranch brisket. So in many cases, it's allowing these people to cook a contest with less meat, but it's the same for everybody.
Do the people that are or do the teams that are winning or that are successful in the competition barbecue side, and I guess specifically to KCBS, but are they looking to make money, or do they just want to win to say they won and try their hand at a team of the year type situation?
You know what? I think trying to speak for all of competition barbecue is probably out of my realm, but I think everybody would. I mean, obviously they like money, but I think most importantly, I think they'd like to break even. A really interesting fact of the first two King of the Smokers, I asked at the cooks meeting how many teams were cash flow positive from cooking, not lessons, from cooking, not classes, and 2 teams raised their hand. 3 teams raised their hand the second time. So I know that it's not a career, it is for some, but I think that spreading, I think making the teams can cook more contests under the guinea pig format. And again, I'm not replacing anything. Okay, I'm not saying that your local contest is going to go away, or if it's really important to you to cook a contest where you get to select your own meat, then there's hundreds of those out there, thousands. But I think there is a place for a cost-controlled contest in a nice venue that includes your family, where you got a chance of recouping your money if you have a reasonably good cook.
Sterling Ball joining me here on the show, talking about the guinea pig barbecue in general. Sterling, do you think that had there not been, and I can't put my finger on where it started. I mean, part of me wants to say it was, or it had a large part to do with Barbecue Pitmasters when I guess a lot of people thought the show was good when they were following the teams around and they were seeing Myron Mixon buy these high-dollar briskets, and all of a sudden it seemed to blow up because everybody was kind of exposed to it via the television. And it seems the meats have become so specialized, even now to chicken and ribs and the pork butts and the briskets. It's almost seems like maybe the cook has put themselves in an expense situation instead of using, the quote-unquote true barbecue meats where you would just go into a Sam's Club or the local grocery store and buy what was there, and you're often competing.
Okay. I'm a strange guy. I sell more Mac pellet grills than anyone in the world, and I have King of the Smokers and won't allow you to use a pellet grill. I'm a marketing partner with Snake River Farms, and I distribute Stru Branch Wagyu. But certainly Wagyu's had an impact on the cost of barbecuing, and I think it's a catch-22. For years there was posturing that, I can cook a cab as good as a Wagyu, and I hear that much less now. And I think what happens is the teams feel like they can't win if they're not cooking a Wagyu. And then maybe they're not as good as the other teams that are winning, and so they're cooking with a Wagyu and they're not winning. So they're damned if they do or damned if they don't. I also think there's a fine line. I think it's okay for the sport to move forward, but it's interesting just in the last year how much more space we needed because of the toy haulers, the RVs, and the trailers, which I'm very guilty of too. But we had, I think we had 15 or 18 people that needed 20 by 40. And Shake and Bake, just an awesome team, the great people, the Shears, the new owners of Blues Hog came out. He had a 10 by 10 booth and 1 duffel bag. And we set up his tables, and he had his 3 gateway drums, and he cooked the contest. But there were people who were really upset because, by the way, we don't charge extra for space, but there were teams that say, well, we really need a 10 by 50. So the space is interesting, the cost, but the fact that people have the investment in their infrastructure to cook, if they amortize that truly over the number of cooks, their cost of cook is very high.
Sterling, in a competitive sense, or in a way to include everybody and potentially continue to grow the sport and keep it moving forward, would you have any issue if there were rules introduced to allow the gas and the electric cookers? I mean, we're not talking about the pellet cookers, but truly electric cookers like a Cook Shack or somebody like that into the playing field as well.
Okay. I have to make sure because, like I said, I sell pellet grills and I sell different things. Personally, I think that I think mining your pit's important, just like David thinks getting your meat is. But I cook with a thermostatically controlled cooker. I think that they missed that opportunity to really address that when they allowed pellet cookers. I really don't care much because I wouldn't cook on an electric cooker. To me, to get the flavor profile I need, my old hickory HPPs, I love my charcoal wood combination. So I don't think that not allowing gas cookers or electric cookers are creating a barrier to entry. I think the cost to cook and the cost of the equipment, the fact that the entry fees are going up and the prize purses really aren't. We had a contest in Newport Beach announced. It was $525 to enter and a $5,000 purse. If you won, you lost money. So he's managed to get another $2,500 to his purse. But I think somebody needs to I think I've come up with a really good model, a really fun model that brings back the family. And I know Sylvie, who's on the channel all the time, has cooked in it 2 years. A lot of people cook in it, and I think they really like it. But look, you've got to pay more people, I think, and you've got to make it cheaper to cook. And we do that by not allowing power. What's really interesting, Greg, is the generators have to go off, because the generator is the most expensive cost an organizer has, so I don't have one. But you can use your own generator, but at 10 o'clock at night, it's got to be off or you're DQ'd. And last year, everybody was really concerned about that. It was so funny because you turn them back on at 6 a.m., and the biggest comment I got is, I hated it when they turned them back on. It was really funny because it was so cool to be at a comp that was dead quiet. And it sounds like New York City when all of a sudden, all the generators crank on at 6 a.m.
So you're not allowed to basically use any pellet cooker then for this contest too?
Well, you can use. Well, you absolutely can because you can run it on an inverter. You just can't use any internal combustion, and it's because the venues. You've got to understand, the first two guinea pigs have been private contests. They haven't been open to the public. They were open to the members of the country club, Mission Hills Country Club, and the one before it was at an RV park. But see, one of the problems we have in competition barbecue is retaining sponsors. I stressed to everybody in the cooks meeting and everything. I said, the hashtag is your friend. You've got to tag the sponsors in the contest because we have a format where where they go to eat barbecue and there's not much barbecue served. Generally, there's not even seats for the fans, and the sponsors have a tendency to get very little back, and that's why so many of them aren't coming back. So, if you check the hashtags from the guinea pig and look at SRF and BTS and Double R, I mean, we really, I think, spread the love and gave a good return to our main sponsor, which is Snake River Farm.
And did it across many social media platforms. I'm, of course, an expert, so I saw the Facebooks, the Tweeters, and the Instagrams as well. And as you said, hashtag properly.
Yeah, but I think it's really important that we treat sponsors better, especially and we treat the public better. And that's why at King of the Smokers, there's the 9 little mini classes. And maybe next year we'll add ask some teams to talk to the fans too, because I think that's really important.
All right, so Sterling, as you kind of review this past weekend in terms of success and how you see it growing into next year, did it meet expectation? Did it surpass expectation? And what would you like to either inject or tweak for the next round of guinea pig?
Well, I can announce this now because I don't think that Darren's talked to the CEO, Sherry, but I think Darren and I are going to do one. Smokey D's and Big Papa are going to do one in Iowa next year. I'm talking about doing one in Central California, trying to unite Northern and Southern California, which is kind of like trying to get world peace or a steel guitar player to play in tune. But I've floated that balloon up today. Any of the regional sanctioning bodies that are interested in it, I really got to make sure everybody knows that, Arlie's my partner in this, and Arlie and the BPS staff run it. And I think Arlie's fabulous organizer and promoter. And, I think Arlie believes that this is the future of competition barbecue, that there could be quite a few of these. And we're looking at an interesting branding opportunity on this that I think I'm going to announce a little later that you're going to think is pretty cool, I think.
Could you see in a high scale or a high level template form a set of like a World Food Championships where you have a number of like qualifiers, and then at the end of the year you have the big main guinea pig for all the marbles?
You know what, Greg? Really, what would happen is if they allowed Team of the Year points to people. Obviously, like I said, we sell them out without it. I think it's a mistake not to give them. Okay, but I also think this. Some people think of the guinea pig as just for beginners. It's not. There's a lot of teams like Left Coast, and I think Luton Bowie. I think
review the team list that was there. I mean, these are all big name teams.
They go for the challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, the challenge of having to cook what's in a box, open the box, okay, I got to cook this, and I know it's the same. I may have a little smaller brisket. I may have bigger pork butts. But my deal here is I like the challenge. I think competitors like that blind box, and, I'm going to beat you with the same meat.
Sterling Ball joining me here on the show, BigPapaSmokers.com, the website if you want to check it out here while we're talking, or after the show, of course. Sterling, what else is happening here before I let you go?
Well, we're finally getting to start cooking out here. I mean, we have Havasu this weekend. We're gonna try and slow down the loot and booty a little bit. I don't think it's possible. Actually, we're looking forward to getting together. I can't stand it. I haven't cooked since October, and that's one of the problems. We really need to get that a little more balanced out here. We've had a lot of problems between Arizona and California, and the number of contests. And I'd really like to see. In the old days when I first started 5 years ago, there were contests in January and February, and those pretty much aren't happening now. But it goes full swing. I think we're going to cook a few more invitationals this year. We're probably going to cook between 22 and 25 contests. I'd love to cook more. I just don't have time with my other jobs.
Sterling Ball is the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers, and again, you can find him at BigPapaSmokers.com. Sterling, appreciate the recap of the guinea pig here, and we're going to have the grand champion right on after you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Greg, which one's your favorite, Sterling?
Oh, there's no question. It's you, baby. Come on. You kidding me? I think I'm insulted, but I'm glad I could tell you anyway.
Greg, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to invite you to cook the guinea pig next year.
No. Why do I want to go and get my ass kicked by 48 other people, Sterling? I mean, do you want to just see me make a fool out of my... I don't even know what I'm doing.
What you do, you always invite somebody to something that you know they won't do, and then you seem like a big shot.
All right, well...
I'd like to have you and Meathead come out and cook it.
Well, I know you got a better shot at getting me than Meathead. You know that. All right, well, I'll tell you what. You invite me out, I might take you up on that. Can I bring somebody along with me?
All right, you got your choice. You can come visit the King of the Smokers or cook in the guinea pig. It's up to you.
Oh, I want to visit King of the Smoker, for sure. Are you kidding me?
All right, you're in.
All right.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right, take care. There he is. Sterling Ball, ladies and gentlemen. Are you kidding me? When have I ever wanted to cook a barbecue competition? No.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Oh, my Lord. Sterling Smith coming up out of the break. My second favorite Sterling. Oh, my Lord. I mean, there's just no way. No way. All right, gang, if you're like me, you want the Butcher's Barbecue. That's right, butcherbbq.com, the prime injection, the pork injection, the beef injection, the open pit pork injection, the bird booster. All of these injections ready for you at butcherbbq.com. Now, perhaps you are looking for rubs and sauces. Well, you fit the right place. Not only do you get the injections from Butcher Barbecue, but you have rubs and sauces to go along with to help you get the points that you want, to help you get the hearty hand clasps and high fives and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's right. Butcher's Barbecue. You can get the steak and brisket rub. You can buy honey rub by the 5-pound bag, for crying out loud. That's how I buy my honey rub. For instance, injections, if you use premium rub, you should use that if you inject with Butcher's. It's formulated to work with the injection, a perfect 1-2 punch to impress judges and friends alike. Last but not least, the Butcher's Barbecue Sweet Barbecue Sauce. I mean, I'm as picky as it gets when it comes to barbecue sauce. I pretty much like my own. After that, it's kind of downhill. But Dave's sauce hits it in every category winning-wise for me. Not overly sweet, a nice slice of tang, good amount of back-end heat, no liquid smoke. I appreciate that the most. Don't worry about breaking the bank when it comes to shipping either. Items totaling up to $55 ship at $8.55. Between $55 and $200, they ship at $9.75. Anything over anything under $200 ships for free. So, rule of the thumb of the day: buy something over $200 at Dave's website, and it will ship for free, and you're not going to be disappointed. If you buy the sauce, buy 6. It's going to go quick. Believe me, I'm in a house full of women, and they love Dave's sauce. I can't believe I just said that out loud. Sorry, Dave. I mean, well, never mind. ButcherBBQ.com. That's ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher. We are back with the winner of the guinea pig in seconds, Sterling Smith of Loot and Booty. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we are back. Joining me now, coming out of a back-to-backer, this time the guinea pig, the pitmaster of Loot and Booty. Saw him here on the show end of last year. Sterling Smith joining us here on the show. Sterling, how are you, bud?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Sterling. Appreciate you making time for the show. Oh, good, too. I fixed myself. I was having incredible video trouble at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you saw that, but thank God I've gotten that wigged out. Sterling, so we have you on. You are now finding yourself in the midst of a hot little run of competition barbecue, a couple wins in a row, and most recently here this past weekend at the Guinea Pig, which took place in Rancho Mirage, California. So you're Arizona-based guy, right?
Yes, I'm based out of Scottsdale, Arizona.
All right. So how far of a drive is this for you?
To Rancho Mirage, it was only about 4 hours or so. Not bad. Being in the Phoenix area, not a lot of comps in Central Phoenix, so we have to drive anyway to Vegas, Northern Arizona, or Southern California are a lot of the comps that we go to.
You know, I had Sterling Ball on just last segment, and we were talking. I mean, he briefly touched on the fact that he's found that Arizona has become maybe a little fractured in the competition scene right now, as far as events being offered, and you know, January and February have kind of dried up a little bit. As someone who's kind of based out of there, do you see the same thing? Are there not as many competitions as there used to be? And I know there's continued to be some kind of factions competing against each other out there in Arizona right now when it comes to competition barbecue.
Well, you know, as my second favorite Sterling said, you know, it's all about the sponsors, and you know, sponsors got to see return. And a lot of the comps out here were one and done. You know, I guess sponsors didn't see what they needed to do. And when you talk about the fractured barbecue scene, you know, I just want to cook. I want to throw up a pop-up tent in a random parking lot and have some drinks with my buddies, and I don't want to get involved in any of that. I'm not about drama. I want to cook and compete and have a great time. And if the comps are here, I'm going to go to them. You know, if they're not, then I'll drive to Vegas. I'll drive to SoCal. It is what I got to do. What I got to do to make sure I'm having fun in this sport and doing what I love.
Sterling Smith joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Loot and Booty. So last weekend or this past weekend was the guinea pig. You know, as you see it, and somebody who has, you know, a good amount of experience in the traditional competitions where you're, you know, paying your entry fees, you're buying all your meats, and you're doing all the stuff that you would, I guess, normally associate with Kansas City Barbecue Society stuff. How do you see the layout or the idea of this competition? And Sterling seemed to make no bones about that this could be the future of competition barbecue to a degree. Did you agree with that mindset? And I guess, how do you like this format compared to the other ones?
Definitely, I do agree. I think it's a great concept. I think the layout it's perfect. The cost control you know, one entry fee, $450 for your entry fee. It includes all your meat, a brisket, 2 butts, 3 racks of ribs, 9 chicken thighs. I love getting that box and opening it up and seeing, you know, how big of a brisket I have, or what do these thighs look like, or how are my ribs That to me is a challenge, and I love a challenge. I love cooking in general, and I really love this concept. I would love to see this concept spread to Arizona, to Nevada, all over the country. I do like the deeper payouts. There's been many times, and we've all been there as pitmasters, where we've came in third place overall, and you leave with nothing. Half a point out of reserve grand champion. I think in 2013 I had 6 third overalls, and that's a ball buster, and paying 10 deep overall and in each category, it's amazing, and at least everybody gets to hopefully get a check, and I really love this layout, and Sterling does a great job, and Arlie Bragg running the show, he keeps everything in line, and they're a great team. I love competing in it. I did it last year, I did it this year, and I'll be back.
I think Sterling made a comment last segment that 50 or 59% of the teams that were in there got a check at some form or fashion. What's the mood like at this kind of event? Do people seem a little bit more jazzed up or excited knowing that the odds of getting some kind of a check, whether it be in a category or an overall deep call, are a little bit more realistic than a traditional KCBS event?
I think the mood in general, it's a little more laid back in terms of everybody, I guess, expecting a check or thinking they're going to get a check. I mean, that's great. The more this sport it's growing, and we'd love to see new teams get involved. And if you can hear a new team's name called at one of these events, it's amazing. It's amazing to see those new guys get hooked and love it. And I was there. First comp we went to and getting 2 calls, man, it was unbelievable, especially competing against the big boys. And I just love the format. I love the people. I love competing in California, especially with Team West Coast offense, and it's just a great time.
All right, so 2 quick questions.
Sure.
What happened to ribs and what happened to brisket?
They were both amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
baby, yeah. Damn judges.
It's always the judge's fault. It's never my fault.
Right.
I put that on.
Right.
But I came in 11th in brisket, and I thought that cab that SRF provided was one of the most amazing cabs that I've ever cooked. There were 10 better people who cooked it better than I did, or at least the judges thought. And then on ribs, I was 16th, and that's the way it happens. If we're in this sport, and you're expecting first place in everything, then you better find a new sport. When it comes, it's great and it's amazing and you love it, but that's the way it goes. If you're in this sport to make money, you're in the wrong deal. You're definitely in the wrong deal. This is not a money-making sport. I relate it to golf or a 57 Chevy or an old car, who you spend money in engine parts or whatever. Man, I just happen to spend money on briskets and ribs.
Chicken was really close between you and then my buddy Matt Dalton, Left Coast Q. Literally probably less than 0.6 of a point separate you guys. Really high chicken scores overall. I mean, point and loose change away from perfect chicken. Is it good to get that that first call? I mean, whether it's first or 10th, I guess, to get a call in chicken kind of help you think at least you're building momentum to a good overall.
It's definitely a great start. Chicken coming out the gates. I've done really well in chicken all last year. I had 3 perfect 180s. I got a first place at the American Royal Invitational with a perfect 180 in chicken. So my chicken's been pretty good for the last year or so. So hopefully I can ride that wave. But obviously you get that first place call in chicken, and hopefully everything else can keep up.
What's the key with chicken with you, Sterling? I mean, you see a lot of pit masters, they're on it, and then they're off of it for a good schneid, and then they're kind of back on it again. How are you able to maintain that consistency?
And well, the word you just said is consistency. I think cooking the same way every time, doing it the same process, not cooking just to practice, and then practicing until you can't get it wrong, until it's the same every time. And if they're liking it, the judges are liking it, especially in this area. Obviously, the flavor profile is going to be different wherever you go. But if they're liking it, keep giving it to them. Keep giving them that same flavor profile. Don't change. Don't do anything. I mean, consistency is key here. This is sports just like any other sport where you're golfing. You have to have the same swing or the same technique. It's the same with barbecue and cooking in general.
So you win 2 of the 4 categories overall, and as you said, with the other 2, you were 11th, you were 16th, so you probably didn't hear your name there, so I mean, were you wondering, am I just outside, or do you think do you automatically go to tank job or what?
No, you always wonder that. You always wonder when you don't get your name called in that top 10. Obviously there's, I guess 40 other teams there who assume that they got 11th place as well. But you never know. So it's very stressful when you're coming down to the top 10 overall, and they get to RGC and GC, and a team has 4 calls there. You only have 2 first place, which is great, but you don't know where those other 2 meets landed. Did they land 11th or did they land 49th? And that's the difference in GC, or that's the difference in 8th overall.
So when you get the call as overall grand champion for this event, where does this rank? I mean, obviously any GC is going to be great and one that you're going to be remembering. But kind of given the contest and some of the run-up that this competition has been getting here over the last 2 years of existence, where does this one rank for you?
It's huge. All of them are huge, like you said. But coming into California, I've cooked several comps in California, and this was actually my first grand champion in California. So it was huge for me. I respect and I love a lot of the California teams. They're great people, great ambassadors for the sport. You talked about Left Coast Q. Matt, he's one of my best friends. We talk all the time. We not only talk at comps, we text each other, we Facebook message each other, weekly, if not daily on things. But a lot of great cooks, a lot of great people. Steph from Simply Marvelous sponsors me with the West Coast offense. So I love those guys. I love going out there and competing against them. And right now, being the number 1 team for California Team of the Year it's really great. I know that's going to come off because I'm not going to be doing as many in California. I still would love to go out there, but it's an amazing victory. It's an amazing win. I love this format that Sterling has together and getting that box. I mean, you don't see anybody from 2 o'clock to pretty much the cook's meeting at 5 o'clock, because everybody gets that box. They go to their areas and start trimming and injecting and doing what they have to do. But I love this format. It is a challenge, and I'm up for any challenge, and it was just a great win.
Would you be open to having the spaces be more accessible and having people not duck in trailers and motorhomes and stuff?
It depends on the situation. Obviously, for trimming meat, I don't like to do that out in the open if there's dust and flies and all that. It's just for sanitary purposes. I want to make sure that I'm keeping the meat sanitary and cold and not out in the sun beating on it. But, I do love people coming by. I talk to people all the time. Sterling brought a few people by, tasted some of my brisket. People are interested. They want to know what you're doing. And I like to talk to them. I love to talk barbecue. That's why I'm on the show with you. That's what I do. And if I can inform some people and give them some great information on, tell me about this smoker. What do you mean cooking? That's how I got involved. And I love to do that with the general public as well.
Sterling Smith joining me here on the show. Pitmaster Luton Booty just won grand champion at the Guinea Pig this past weekend in California. Where are you guys going to be at for your next competition?
This weekend we'll be in Lake Havasu, Arizona. We got 80 teams coming up. Sterling Ball's coming out. Like I said, my second favorite. Actually, it's probably third because my son's name is Sterling. So, but we'll be out in Lake Havasu. The Elzer boys' brother, Sweet Smoke Q, he's going to be out there. We got a lot of great teams coming out. Some from Iowa, a lot from California, Nevada, definitely a big Arizona contingent coming out. So I'm the reigning GC. I took GC in 2013. There were 84 teams there. It was canceled last year for 14, but it's back this year for 2015 with about 80 teams. So we're coming in strong. We're coming in ready. We're coming in ready to cook.
I mean, you have a lot of momentum rolling in. You could be rolling up. This would be 3 in a row. If you're on the show, right? So, certainly this is a foregone conclusion that you're going to win it, of course. But let's just talk for the other people.
I'll take it.
You're going to be. You have the potential of rolling up. 3 in a row this year, and then going kind of back to back, if you will, from the last time you GC'd it. Do you feel that you have a great shot at continuing the winning here?
if I continue to do what I do, then, I think in every competition I have a great shot. I mean, every team there who's out there thinks they have a great shot. If you don't think you have a great shot, you shouldn't be out there competing or sign your team up. I mean, there's great teams out there, but I come to win, and we all do. But there's amazing teams, 80 teams out there. I mean, there's going to be some great teams, and I just got to do what I do. And if I do that and give the judges what they want, then that's where I'll be. But I never go into a comp assuming that I'm going to get grand champion, because that's not what I do. There's amazing cooks and amazing people out there that are a lot better than I am, and hopefully the judges like what I'm giving them.
Sterling Smith is the pitmaster of Loot and Booty. You're going to find him in Lake Havasu amongst 79 other teams or so, looking for another grand championship. Sterling, appreciate the time, man. Congratulations on the win this past weekend, and we wish you good luck for this coming.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Greg.
All right, there he is. My man, Sterling Smith from Loot and Booty. Wow, he was right out on time. That was awesome. Good for you, Sterling. I appreciate that the most. Getting out on time. All right, folks, let me talk to you about the 2015 competition barbecue season. It's here. Are you ready? Truffle Butter Cook Shack has the smoker and the spices to get you to the winner's circle. That's right, folks. You can use the Fast Eddie's by Cook Shack FEC 100 pellet smoker and Fast Eddie's award-winning all-purpose rub. Fast Eddie's by Cook Shack FEC 100 is the choice of many teams on the competition circuit. Dave Bosco, Butcher Barbecue, Dana Hillis of Big Papa's Country Kitchen, Todd Johns of Plowboys Barbecue have competed using an FEC 100 for years. Dave won the 2012 barbecue contest at the World Championship in Las Vegas and was featured on the Barbecue Pitmaster show using the FEC 100. Todd Johns won the American Royal in 2009 using his FEC 100. Other notable teams using the FE: Diva Q of Danielle Demosky, Jiggy Piggy, GQ, Port Patrol, Jeff Northcutt of Dr. Nordy's, just to name a few. Why are these legendary pitmasters using the FEC 100? Todd Johns of Plowboys considers his two FEC 100s to be a member of the cooking team. They can handle the fire management. He can get himself to the contest late, prep his meats, and they are ready to cook. The FEC puts you in control so you can concentrate on your flavor profiles and making those turn-in buys. The FEC 100 features the IQ5 controller that lets you set smoke, cook, and hold time temperatures. The heat and flavor source is 100% food-grade wood pellets. The pellet heat is controlled by a fully automated pellet system which produces very little ash compared to stick burners. And if you want more deep smoke flavor, Cook Shack offers the optional smoke enhancer that can be added to the FE100 as well. So give them a call right now. Order up some pellets. Order up some FEC 100s. Feel the Cook Shack love. 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698. You can also order online, cookshack.com. That's cookshack.com. All right. We're back to wrap up the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, Suburban Waste Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me two shots. We don't need a radio. Bring a jukebox for my outlaws.
All right. Welcome back. Thanks again to Sterling Smith for joining me this past segment, talking about the win at Lake Havasu. John Dawson of Patio Daddy reminded me of rule number 1 of the show. I can't believe that I don't remember. Rule number 1 of the show, of course, no names, please. No names, please. I knew that. Rule number 2 of the show, don't get hooked, which I didn't. Rule number 3, if it's free, it's me. There you go. Those are your rules of the show. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up right now. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Michael McDearman, the Sam's Club director, 2015, the National Barbecue Series. At 9:35, we talked with Matt Barber, the winner of the very first Sam's Club local event of 2015. He is now on a 2-game win streak. He will be visiting Haines City this weekend, where he hopes to make it 3 in the second hour. We had Sterling Ball, creator of the Guinea Pig, doing some high-level conversations on that, talking about competition barbecue in general. And we just closed out the show with Sterling Smith, pitmaster of Luton Booty. He won the Guinea Pig competition this past weekend and heading to Havasu to make it 3 in a row and hopefully repeat as champ down there, as he is the reigning champion in Havasu. So other teams, watch out. Sterling's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah! All right. If you have the raw cast iron, re-season it each and every time. Little Pam, little Crisco, give you generations of rust-free service. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Till next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is your program host and proud U.S. American Greg Rempe. Good night now.